Would you ever consider taking your fellow American citizens' rights to their freedom of speech or freedom of religion? Would you enslave them? If you're anything like me, the answer is obviously no. These are constitutional rights. But Ohio's Heartbeat Bill attempts to take away a woman's rights to abortion, the rights which are protected by the constitutional amendments. According to a PBS Frontline article entitled Roe v. Wade and Beyond, in 1973, Supreme Court Justice Harry Blackmun found that the rights to abortion exist in the First, Fourth, Fifth, Ninth, and 14th Amendments. What these amendments have in common is the fact that they protect your right to a decision, a private decision, which is not inhibited by the government. Roe v. Wade, a 1973 Supreme Court case, stated that within the first trimester or the first 12 weeks of pregnancy, women should have unlimited access to abortion. In the second trimester, states can limit access. In the third trimester, states might ban access as long as it does not inhibit the health of the woman. I researched this topic thoroughly. I've studied this case and cases similar to it which have been attempted to be passed in other states. In addition to my research, I also took a course with Dr. Abigail Adams here at the college, who is an expert on this abortion topic because she worked for several years on abortion clinics here in the United States. Ohio's Heartbeat Bill is unconstitutional, illogical, and also ineffective. First, I'm going to tell you what the Heartbeat Bill is, the controversy surrounding it, and the consequences of it. Then I'm going to tell you why it's illogical in our society. Finally, I'm going to tell you why it may be completely useless. The Heartbeat Bill fails to be constitutional. It is a complete violation of women's rights. According to a Columbus Dispatch article by Catherine Kandinsky written on June 27, 2011, if passed, this would be the most restrictive anti-abortion law in the nation. The Heartbeat Bill states that within the first, once the first fetal heartbeat is established, which is within the first 6 to 7 weeks, abortions are illegal afterwards. The first problem with this is the fact that within the first 6 to 7 weeks, most women do not even know that they are pregnant. So essentially, it would inhibit all abortions. The second problem, stated by Tanya Samander in her December 14, 2011 ThinkProgress.org article, states that women cannot have abortions under this law unless they are in danger of dying. Thirdly, it has no provisions whatsoever for rape or incest victims. And finally, and perhaps most convincingly, the pro-life movement's biggest supporters have removed their support from passing this bill. According to Eric Ekholm, from his December 4, 2011 New York Times article, they have stated that this bill is unconstitutional and quote-unquote doomed to failure. So not only is it unconstitutional, this bill is also illogical. The Heartbeat Bill fails to make logical sense in our society. According to Julie Rosner's NPR.org article from June 1, 2011, there's an increasing effort across the board to redefine when life begins. Roe v. Wade states that life begins after a fetus is able to fully survive outside of its mother's womb. The Heartbeat Bill would redefine this as the moment a first fetal heartbeat is determined. But this makes no sense in our society. Let me explain why. Within the first embryonic stages of all vertebrates, including the time period of the first fetal heartbeat, all of these embryos look almost exactly the same. They're basically indistinguishable. So, according to the logic of the Heartbeat Bill, which claims life and humanhood as the moment when the first fetal heartbeat is established, then all vertebrates should have protection because they are all the same at this point in time. This makes no sense in our society, which kills vertebrates on an enormous scale. So it makes no sense in our society, it's unconstitutional, and it also may in the end fail to be of any use at all. Countless amounts of studies have shown that restricted anti-abortion laws actually have no effect whatsoever on abortion rates. The Guttmacher Institute, updated 2011, explains that under Roe v. Wade, from 1980 to 2005, abortion rates actually declined. It also goes on to say that many developing countries have highly restrictive abortion laws, but also have high abortion rates. This is true of the United States as well. Anti-abortion laws would have no effect, really, whatsoever on abortion rates. So now you're aware of what could be the most repressive anti-abortion law in the nation if it passed. The Ohio heartbeat law is unconstitutional, illogical, and ineffective. It is an unacceptable alternative to Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was designed to protect the woman, the child, and their rights. Their need for protection hasn't changed, their rights haven't changed, and giving birth hasn't changed. The Ohio heartbeat bill goes against